Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Ah, sweet. Yeah, I think it's recording now. Awesome. I just checked out your band. I'd heard the name quite a few times, but I'd never given it a listen. And I think yesterday it's really good stuff, man. Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it was, like black metal, melodic death metal. It was like a mixture of all my favorite genres, so I thought it really kicked ass.
Oh, cool, man. Glad you like it. Yeah, it's a bit of a different approach for us on this one. So, yeah, quite a few people have said that. People who have heard us or haven't heard us. It's kind of surprising everyone, which is good, But surprising in a good way. Surprising everyone in a good way. So that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I'd heard the name a few times, and I'm like, I thought for some reason it was a metalcore band, and I'm like, oh, too big on metalcore, I won't check them out. And then I listened, I'm like, oh, it's not a metalcore band.
Maybe it was the three-word name that threw off.
Yeah, I think it is, because they're always
names.
like, yeah, it's always like Bring Me
words.
Horizon or something like that. Sentence names.
Yeah, all those kind of deathcore, metalcore bands who have the, seem to be the three-word names. But yeah, maybe that's what threw you off. Actually, no one's ever said that before, so
yeah.
Put other people off.
Hey, what genre would you kind of define yourself as? It seems to be a bit of a mixture.
I think now, with the new album, I would definitely say more along the lines of, really sort of aggressive melodic death metal with, still a little bit of folk metal influences and even a little bit of melodic black creeping in there as well, because some of it's got quite heavy and extreme in there. So, but yeah, for the best part, definitely melodic death metal. We've always had that in there with all the melodies, and used to be a lot more folk inspired stuff in the early days, and we've sort of slowly weaned ourselves off that. Although there's still elements of it there, which we still like folk metal and bands like Moon Sorrow and Winter Sun, who sort of still have a bit of that kind of element too. Keep some of the old fans happy, but also progressing and trying to keep ourselves happy, and also trying to win over new fans.
Yeah. You got a new album out. Came out last year. It's called On Desolate Plains. How did you go about recording that? Did you record it yourselves, or did you have like a producer and stuff like that?
We, for the best part, recorded ourselves. The drums were done in a proper recording studio. We had a guy called Albuquerque, who's, I think he's been on every album. He recorded the drums with Ash, so I spent a day trying to get the right sounds. It was all natural drum sounds, no triggers or any studio tricks. We just wanted a really solid, warm, natural drum sound, which the guys got. So we spent a couple of days doing that in the studio, and then the rest of it was done ourselves in various houses and apartments and kitchens and bedrooms of the different houses that we live in. Which, is a bit about to do that recording itself. Actually got his laptop set up. Our drummer, who recorded the last album, Fortune Flame, as well as this one on Desolate Plains. And we recorded the rest ourselves. He mixed it. And then, I think we got Al to do the final master for us.
Yeah, if people want to check that out, that's on like Spotify and YouTube and all those kind of platforms.
Yep, Spotify, definitely on iTunes. Of course, via the band we can, obviously still do physical copies as well. I mean, I think it's Bandcamp. And the album's on YouTube and the songs individually on YouTube. I've got a couple of film clips, one for a song called Mantra and one for a song called, oh gosh, I should know the name of my own song. Spirit of Fire, there we go. It's my favourite song of the album and I've forgotten it. There you go. Definitely different platforms for whatever you prefer. It's all available out there.
Yeah, I'm a big vinyl collector. Do you have any vinyl releases?
Sadly not. No, that's actually one thing we don't. We did do a limited edition, I think, single with 2 songs on it. The problem with our albums is it's so long that if we were to do vinyl, it'd have to be, double vinyl, which means double the price. And there's a few people out there who like it, but I don't know if it's the amount of money to spend. Are we actually going to sell 50 vinyl? So it becomes a costly expense for us to try and, the next album we're going to maybe try and do something after under an hour. And then we might end up doing some vinyl. But as it stands, unfortunately not, no. A few people have asked that, but I'm pretty keen to do it on tape.
I've started collecting a few tapes as well. I bought Alchemist's first demo tape the other day just for a laugh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find some pretty rare stuff online these days.
Yeah, that's a nice classic piece of Australian metal history. Nice
Yeah.
one. Yeah, well, tapes seem to be coming back too, so that's a little bit easier, a little bit more affordable. Just got to obviously readjust the artwork a bit to suit the tape format, but that's something I'd like to do, maybe with even all the releases, because it's quite cheap to do. But yeah, initially I think we just get this out on CD, online, do our tour, sell a few copies, and we get a little bit of money back and get a bit of time. We might look at other options then.
Yeah, for sure. You got some tour dates coming up as well. Can you tell us where you're playing?
Yes, we are playing to hopefully everyone would be happy to hear. It's a full national tour. A lot of people seem to have a bit of a silk if Adelaide or Perth or somewhere's not included. Or it's not a full tour, but rest assured this is a full tour. So we're hitting all the capital cities, except for Tassie. We're not getting there, and we're not doing Canberra. But yeah, Perth, Bunbury, which is a couple of hours south of Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne. We're doing Bendigo, big festival there that Damien Smith's putting on the Saturday the 27th. Then we've got Sydney, Newcastle, Brisbane. I think we've got a larger show in there in Gosford as well in New South Wales. So I think there's 9 shows all up. So yeah, a couple of weeks out. Be good.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably try to come along to the Brisbane show and check you guys out. It should be a good night.
Oh yeah, sure mate. If you want to come down, let me know. I'll gladly put you out with the door spot and take a few happy snaps if you're keen.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Be happy to do that.
Yeah, cool man. That'd be great.
Yeah. You also run the touring company, SOUNDWORKS Touring. You mustn't have much time with, you're doing a band, you're doing, promotions for a tour, all the stuff you do online as well. You get much time to yourself these days?
Not a lot, no. But I mean, I love music. Music is pretty much my life and it keeps me sane as well as beer. So I mean, I like to keep busy. It's a lot to take on, with the touring company. I mean, I actually don't officially or technically run SOUNDWORKS Touring anymore. I actually left as an owner at the end of June last year, but I'm still heavily involved. The guys, I'm still employed now as doing all the publicity and tour managing and a little bit of accounting here and there. So kind of in a way, not much has changed other than I don't actually own it. I'm just I'm an employee now. But yeah, it's still keeps me busy and being in a band. I'm actually in 3 bands now, well technically 4. So yeah. I've formed a couple of new bands. I'm a big fan of grindcore and was missing playing that. So yeah, started a couple of grindcore bands and reformed our old band Choke for a fun show in March. So yeah, that plus other bits and pieces I do, freelance driving and whatever I can get to make ends meet really. So yeah, but hey, sleep's overrated anyway.
Yeah,
sleep's boring. I'd rather be doing something.
Yeah, for sure. When you guys started SOUNDWORKS, it started as a rehearsal space, didn't it? Is that true?
That's correct, yes. 14 years ago, we bought SOUNDWORKS rehearsal studios here in Perth.
Does it still exist?
It actually sadly doesn't, no. We had it for after about 4 or 5 years. Hang on, no, must have been a couple of years, and then we started the touring side of things. First tour was Hey Eternal in 2005. But yeah, it just took off. We didn't sort of kind of stumbled into it in a way, and then we did Nile and Cannibal and Behemoth, and they were just kind of snowballing. We're like, actually, this is bad. And then the touring side of things got really busy. It's taken up quite a long time. So we decided to sell the studios. Yeah. Sadly, they don't exist anymore. But that's kind of how we started. And that's where the name comes from. SOUNDWORKS Touring was the studios we bought. But yeah, a little bit sad to hear we're not running anymore. But the guys who bought them decided that it wasn't for them anymore, and just let it go. So, but yeah, SOUNDWORKS is still going strong. Brad, the other partner there, wanted to keep going with it. He's been doing some joint tours with Dave Haley from Direct Touring. Yeah. Who we did our first ever tour with, actually. Hey Eternal was a joint venture between ourselves and Dave. Yeah. Croptic, back before he had Direct Touring. But yeah, now the guys are kind of doing a few things together and keeping me involved. So yeah, it's all working out really well. Just, guys announced the Sun the other day, and that sold out in a matter of 5 days, which is incredible.
Yeah, I was surprised that sold out so fast because I know he's a big name, but people kind of know the name Emperor, and I thought maybe
Yeah,
without that
exactly.
brand name that wouldn't sell that well, but apparently it did.
Yeah, I think it's as close as people are ever going to see Emperor down here, unfortunately. So I think people just went, well, and he will be, performing, of course, quite a lot of Emperor. So I think people are like, well, this is good. We're going to get get a ticket. Yeah, so that's going to be a pretty big show.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing guy because when you listen back to the early demos, it's pretty rough sounding, and now he's come so far. He's a really good musician. He's kind of like the black metal Devin Townsend. What do you think about his music?
Oh yeah, totally. But when he first started out, he was just a kid, just an teenager trying to be as extreme as possible. And, like you grow up, you get older, you play better, you mature a bit, and you kind of, I guess as he got older, he probably wasn't as angry. So. He's been experimenting, and he's definitely you're probably spot on there when you reference to Devin Townsend as kind of like the extreme version of Devin Townsend. It's probably a good way of putting it.
Yeah. When you do tours for bands like Mayhem, you ever get kind of trouble getting them into the country? I know they're pretty notorious. They might be on like a terror watch list or something. Is that a problem?
Look. Obviously, all these guys got to get their visas sorted, and it can be quite a process. I mean, if your record's squeaky clean, then it's usually quite straightforward. But some of these guys have got an interesting background, which they've got to disclose. But we've never had any major. I mean, a couple of times we've certainly cut it fine with visa approvals, but I don't think we've ever not had anyone make the country because of any previous problems with the law. As long as you kind of disclose what's happened, and you've got the necessary paperwork to back it up, all they need. They're only here for a few days, they perform, and quite often, especially bands like Mayhem and all these bands, they've been around for a long time now. So stuff that they've done has happened 25, 30, 35 years ago when they were just silly kids. So I think common sense prevails in immigration, and they've realised that's what happened, and they kind of do a bit of allowance after a certain period of time. They're like, that happened 25 years ago. Nothing's happened since. There's no reason why they can't leave into the country. But it's fairly something that's got to get done. There's always background checks that the immigration do. And if they lie during the process of applying for a visa, get called out, well, then they won't be let in the country. So, but we've never had any issues. We've seen some interesting things come through on the forms where some of these guys have got up to in their younger years. So I won't mention names or anything, but people have been caught drunk and disorderly or doing nudie runs and small time things. So it's good for a laugh sometimes, But honesty is the best policy, and especially if you're putting things such as visas, because if you get one wrong, you get refused into one country. It can make it difficult to get in other countries, especially like the USA. They're going to question why you didn't, why were you not back for Australia, and they'll start getting stuff. So but it's all part of the process of putting on a tour.
Yeah, are they nice, normal dudes to hang out with, the Mayhem crew?
Yes, man, totally. I caught up with Nick Butch the other night. He's coming to Perth a bit early for a bit of a holiday, so he came into my place and we hung out. He's actually stayed at my house a couple of times before for a holiday, and he's an interesting character. Never got a dull story, and he's a pretty funny dude. I mean, obviously he's serious, and he's got his persona on stage. But outside of that, just a normal dude, man, who likes to have a drink and eat good food, have a chat and have a laugh, and you find with most of these people, that's how they usually are. You get the occasional quiet person and the occasional douchebag, or people you might not necessarily get along with too well, but you just deal with them accordingly, and usually if there is a problem, which is quite rare. It's only if you're only hanging out with them for a few days, so you kind of do what you got to do, and once it's done, you send them off on the plane, and you never have to see them again.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's for the best part. Everyone's usually cool. It could be both to do with metalheads. They've obviously got something in common, and there's always something to talk about. So it's usually a good time.
Yeah, are they going to be doing the sheep's heads or the pig's heads on stage in Australia?
No, I think they're past that. That was sort of a stage show more when Maniac was in the band.
Yeah.
So I think, it's one of those things where, and sort of, especially bands doing that on it, once been there, done that kind of thing. And because this tour is mainly for the Mysterious album, playing that from start to finish, it's sort of obviously more focused on that and what was happening around the time of that and the vibe of that. So I'm still managing that one. I haven't seen any requests for big heads, so I don't think it's going to happen. Just look at smoke machines.
Just smoke machines, no other props or anything like that?
Oh, they've got a bunch of stuff they're bringing with them, lots of banners and there's a lot of really cool lighting that's going to happen with production stuff that we've had to organise. So it's going to be a great looking show. And they've brought a few other props, what they can bring on a plane with them. So it's going to be a fantastic show for sure.
Oh, I remember when I was taking photos for Vartan, is it, I thought I smelled something funny, then I found out it was, real pig's blood or something on his jacket that had gone pretty off, so that's what the smell was.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely possible. So, some of these guys like to have the real deal on every container like that. They've got their pre-show ritual and it's got to be real blood, otherwise it's, they're not happy otherwise. So, sometimes you've got to source this stuff out.
Yeah.
Hit up your local butcher.
Yeah, I heard a story. It was at one of those festivals. I think it was the Vartan guys were in there and Zach Wilde came in and smelt their uniforms and told them all to get lost because he thought they stunk like shit. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that can happen. People who don't, I don't think Zach Wilde probably understands black metal that well, so he probably doesn't understand the whole satanic get-up and rituals, and he probably thinks they're weirdos.
I bet.
One can't blame him, because when you sort of see it backstage and what they're getting up to, and even I'm just going, holy shit, what's this all about? But once they actually do have a shower and put on their metal vest and black jeans and just hang out with them, same thing. They're just quite normal people. They've just got their own views on life, and they're good fun. These guys are good fun too.
Yeah, for sure. When you look back on all the tours you've done, what have been some of the most successful, I guess, profitable tours? And have you also had some tours that have been a bit of a write-off as well that, you've kind of lost a bit of cash on?
Well, look, it's a roller coaster ride being a promoter, so you're going to have your wins and you're certainly going to have your losses. You're not a promoter unless you've had a loss, so as long as your wins outweigh your losses, you can keep rolling along. So, we've never had any really major catastrophes that have, sandwich is still around. So, but probably some of the the highlights and bigger tours we've done was obviously, the first time we toured Cannibal Corpse, they hadn't been for about 12 years, so that was huge. When Carcass reformed, and we did that tour. That was massive too. Most when you're selling out 6 or 7 shows out of 8 shows, you obviously it's everybody's winning there. So the last when we toured Carcass and Napalm Death, that was a good one too. It was just 2 classic bands touring together, and and Napalm, Carcass supporting Napalm, just out of respect was really cool too. So there are definitely some highlights, and one of the few non-metal tours we did 2 cellos, which is 2 guys and 2 cellos. It's more of they do a lot of covers, and they're like Steve Vai cello, man. Those guys are absolutely incredible. And the last tour, they were doing 2,000 to 3,000 a night, including the Singapore Opera House and selling out. So that was obviously a really big tour. But some of the ones you try and they don't. Tours. Alstorm has always done quite well. It's a tour we took a punt on. I thought, are they going to do any good here? That's before anyone kind of knew them, and straight away they did really well. There's some others you take a punt on, and they don't always do quite so well. But we've always tried to look at it over the course of a year. So you might do 7 tours and 5 might make money, and you might lose money on 2. But as long as you're ahead and there's money in the bank and you've paid yourself for the year, then it's still a successful year.
Yeah, it kind of seems like No, I wasn't really going to metal shows 20 years ago, but you probably wouldn't have been getting all these, kind of underground black metal bands, death metal bands in Australia. It would have been fairly uncommon back in the days, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was. It's a totally different landscape now. Like when I was, when I was now, 2018, back in the early 90s, when I was in my early 20s, and especially in Perth, the only tours that would come to Perth would be big bands like Pantera. You'd get Pantera, Metallica. You'd be lucky even to get Megadeth. I don't think Megadeth ever came here until the 90s, maybe the early 2000s and festivals and stuff. So, yeah, Perth, you're lucky if you got 2 concerts a year, and you call them concerts because they're only big shows at the Entertainment Centre. And, really before we came along, there wasn't anyone doing much. I mean, in the late 90s, a lot of the death metal bands came out, or probably mid-90s. It was mid-90s. Like Carcass and Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Pungent Sense, all these bands started coming out. It's pretty good for a while, but then late 90s, I guess when new metal and grunge and that took over, all that kind of extreme stuff dropped off, and then, we were presented with opportunity and gave it a crack, and it worked out. But I think, with the way things are with the internet now, it makes it a lot easier to target certain demographics and get the word out there, and to be able to tour some of these more underground bands, and doing packages and stuff where you can put 3 or 4 bands together. It's easier now than it was 25 years ago. Perth people complain now, we don't get enough tours. You should have tried doing it 25 years ago when you only got Pantera. That was it. So the fact that Perth even still gets 4 or 5 tours a year, including, like a Mayhem or Septic Flesh or Moonsaw or whatever it might be, they should still be grateful. Okay, you're not going to get them all, but you certainly get a lot more than what I used to get when I was a kid.
Yeah, definitely. Ever thought about doing a festival or anything like that, or do you think there's much of a market for an extreme metal festival in Australia?
Me personally, I would never do a festival. Never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
We discussed it a few times at SOUNDWORKS, and I was just never into it. I just don't think it, especially for extreme metal, it's only a certain amount of people, and the cost of touring this country is it's astronomical. With hiring flights, hotels, and it just adds up. So yeah, a festival like I do in Europe is too difficult down here, and I've never wanted to try that. So it was too much of a risk. So Soundwave was on a bigger level. Look what happened to that. And I hear Download going well with it. I hope it does. I hope Australia. It'd be sad if we didn't get any kind of festivals, but I hope it's doing well, and if we can at least have that every year, that'd be a good thing. And Soundwave was a good thing for for when it lasted. No matter what people might think of the guy who ran it, I mean, he did a good thing for a long time, man, and he brought a lot of bands out that a lot of people would never have seen. So, hats off him to that, and having balls big enough to put them on the chopping block and actually do it. So, I certainly saw a few bands that I never thought I'd get to see in Australia. So.
Yeah.
But personally, nah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Did you check out the Download Festival?
No, I'm in Perth, man, so I doubt if I'll get over to it. But maybe next year if it, from sort of timing's right and money's right, I might give it a go over there and check it out. But in the meantime, I'll just let other people do festivals, and I'll just gladly attend or work there.
Yeah, for sure. Have you got any bands on your wish list that you want to bring over to Australia, or some that have been difficult that you've been trying for a couple of years?
There's not that many now that haven't sort of really come out. Obviously, Emperor's always been one, but that's never going. It's always been it's a difficult one. So Isan is there instead. It's just one of those things. Emperor just don't tour anywhere. So apart from festivals in Europe, and personally, I've probably seen all the bigger name bands I've wanted to see over the years because I'm a bit older and I've travelled quite a bit. So I work in the industry, so you get to see these things a bit easier than some. But for me personally, a lot of underground stuff. So I'm a lot of underground grindcore and whatnot. So for me, I'd more rather see a band like Good Lux or Gruesome Stuff, really, more than I'd want to see Creator or Destroy Destruction or something, because I've seen those bands before, but I haven't seen all these crazy grime bands that I love. So, I find myself more into underground. I mean, I've always been into it, but the more I get, the more and more I get into the underground, because I just want to hear something new and cool, and not necessarily fresh, but something fun. So, I don't think I have a wish list anymore. No. Maybe just places and festivals. Like, I'd love to go to Obscene Extreme Fest and Brutal Assault and stuff like that. I haven't been to, so that's probably more of an occasion thing than an actual band thing. So,
yeah. Do you think these, many of the Australian extreme metal bands are pulling in much money? Because I know I've talked to Rod from Alchemist that he never really made big profits on tours or anything like that. But how do you guys go with it? Is it just kind of you do it for the passion, or is that basically it?
For us personally, we do it for the passion. I mean, I consider ourselves fortunate. We're at the position where most times we tour now, we can at least cover costs or come very close to covering costs.
Yeah.
So, like a Winter Sun tour that we did in Australia and Japan, just after the album came out, we did that. And the only money I had to spend in my own pocket was just spending money just for food and drinks.
Yeah.
Where we need to. So, we certainly don't make money out of it. But I've never been in a band to make money out of it. If that was to happen one day. Sorry, that was my alarm.
Oh, that's all right.
If I could make money one day, I would certainly not complain, but I'm never going to expect it. The fact we can at least just cover costs, I think, we're successful right there. But I think most bands are in a position, even bands that have, done a little bit more than us, like Psychroptic or Naval Liviscaris. I mean, those guys, well, Naval Liviscaris, of course, with their campaigns that they do, which I'm not a big fan of. But anyway, each their own, that's all good. But, for them to have to do that, they're obviously not making a great deal of money anyway. It just goes to show. So Croptic, they might make a little bit, they would definitely cover costs, I'm sure, and maybe a little bit of scratch, but, you're talking extreme metal, I mean, a lot of even the bigger bands that we tour, a lot of these guys still have jobs back home and stuff, so when they're not touring, they're making money, so they're sort of making meat.
I think Mayhem guys, do you think they have a job back home, like a day job?
Some of them might. I mean, I know Necro well, and all the guys. Someone like Hellhammer. I mean, I don't know if he does, but he probably does drum lessons and whatnot back home. And a lot of them go back and they still work in the music industry, so they work at venues, or they might be a tech for someone else or something. So a lot of these guys, do that. If they're not touring, they'll get bored. So I'm sure they'll keep themselves active, but. Yeah, I think as far as Aussie bands go, I mean, someone like Parkway Drive, I'm sure do okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're pulling big crowds everywhere, so, and more of the proggy stuff like Carnival and that. I mean, those guys obviously do well because, they're pulling big numbers every night and sell lots of records. So once you get that realm of stuff. But yeah, they're few and far between, man. It's sort of the level we're at and the kind of music we're at. I think if you're covering costs, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed your first album, or first Claim of the Throne album, Only the Brave Return, it came with a book as well. Was that like a full novel? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. Well, that was before I was in the band, but, I was great friends with the guys. Used to go to all the shows and occasionally fill in on bass for them, and that's how I ended up being a permanent member. But I was just a crazy idea they had at the time. It was just, I think, the album itself, I mean, Cabba writes all the lyrics, so there's always kind of a story involved in with the album, like a concept album, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And I think the book just complemented the album. It was kind of, I think, a bit of a follow-on from the album, and I think it was just something they wanted to do. There's just as something different for a bit of fun, and it's actually a pretty humorous read. Yeah. I think those guys like to indulge themselves in a few things and write the book. But I think that's when the guys first started. And, I don't really know the whole idea behind it, but I guess just to do something different. But they all sold out. You can't get them anymore. Yeah, they did the first album and the book. So I've got a copy somewhere. I should reread it actually. But yeah, he actually got it.
Do you think you'd ever look into, wanting to tour bands that have maybe disbanded, or like maybe get him to reform for a show like Sadistic Executioner or Mortal Sin, or I think Hobbs Angel of Death is still going? That'd be a cool tour.
Oh, look, I mean, of course it happens, there's a big reunion fest here in Perth in March. I was talking about my old band before, Choker playing, and there's quite a few old Perth bands getting together. There's about 5 or 6 of them, including Full Scale Deflection, who got quite big at the time. And, I mean, you could never rule out. I mean, Sadistic have reformed once or twice before.
Yeah.
Bands like Alchemist maybe one day might do it. If there's something that's special, I think it'd have to be something special to, for these bands to want to do that. It could be a fest, or, maybe the price is right. That also helps sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can never rule out, man. All these bands like Carcass and At the Gates, and they broke up for so many years, and Whacking came along and dangled a carrot in their face, and they couldn't resist. And hey, they sorted out the differences, and wrote new albums, and they're back on board and touring again, which is a great thing, And I think for a lot of bands, you do get sick of each other because you live in each other's pockets, and problems can happen, and give it a bit of time, and you get the passion back again, and they can reform and do good things again, which is awesome, man. I never thought I'd get to see some of these bands again, so I'm definitely all for it.
Yeah,
I think you'd be pretty lucky if you get Sad X back again. Those guys are interesting bunch of characters. I don't think you could put them in a room together anymore without something actually pear shaped going on.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just going to say, I'll probably finish it up soon, but there's definitely some really classic Australian metal bands out there, and I think we can do it just as good as, the Europeans and the Americans. You look at bands like Fuck I'm Dead and Blood Duster and Pod People, Armored Angel. Who in your opinion, are some of the greatest, most iconic Australian metal bands?
Oh, look, you're definitely right, man. I've always been a huge supporter of Aussie metal. I had my label Prime Cuts for a long time, and sadly I had to give that away because I just got too busy. I do actually have to get some sleep. But, yeah, man, there's so many good Australian bands out there from, many years ago when I was first getting into it. There was Allegiance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I was a massive Allegiance fan, and they really inspired me to do a lot of things I do, still to this day. Mortal Sin, Hobbs Angel of Death back in the day. I've always been a massive Blood Duster fan. Blood Duster is one of my favourite bands of all time. Australian North Coast is one of my favourite albums of all time. It's right up there. Psychotic, of course. Fuck I'm Dead. You pretty much listed all the bands I'm into. And there's a lot of local bands here in Perth I've always been to, like Maximum Version. I've always been a massive fan. They've never really done too much, but just such a cool, groovy grind band. Even talking about bands that are doing well now. Like I was always a big Astral fan. I really liked what they did. But it's across the board as far as genres go. There's always been a lot of bands who've done well. I mean, look at a band like Portal. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Portal. It mesmerises my brain. But they got a really good cult following, worldwide.
Yeah, no.
Every now and then.
Selma's a big fan of Portal. He's always wearing their shirt.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a big Mournful Congregation fan. I've always loved those guys. I actually flew over to Adelaide years ago to watch their first ever live show. That's how much of a fan I was. It was a lot of still am. Man, there's definitely no shortage of quality Australian bands from years ago right up to today. So that's why I've always encouraged people to support local scenes and get involved, because it's not all about the big ones. There's quality stuff in your own backyard, and it's only a trip to your local pub and $10 to get in to at least suss it out. So everyone should. And now with the internet, God, it's so easy to check out bands from anywhere in the world. So why not start here first and work your way out to the rest of the world afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. So your new album On Desolate Plains, it's out now, so check it out if you've got the internet. Give it a search, and you'll be touring all the capital cities and a few other towns pretty soon. So
starting this week in Perth, and from 12th of January to the 4th of Feb. So next couple of weeks, we'll be travelling around, having a good time, playing with some great local bands, cool venues, and we'll have all our CDs and merch there. So come along, we'll always have a good time on stage, and support your local scenes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Dicey. I'll be at the Brisbane show, and good luck with the Mayhem tour and the iFarm tour and all the other ones that are coming up.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, cool, mate. Well, I'll once I get off the phone, I'll give you I'll sort you out the door spot for Bridget, man, and feel free to bring your camera and take some shots if you can.
Yeah, no worries. Do you reckon I could get a +1 for Mayhem, or is that pretty full up?
That's fine, man. I'll tell you what. Do you want to? Because you're in Brisbane. Cool, man. Just I'll tell you what. Send me an email.
Yep.
Just with the Mayhem stuff, I've got to keep a track of all that, just to show their tour manager when he gets through. So if you wanted to send me an email with Mayhem and just include Flame the Throne on there, and I'll make sure on the guests for both, and +1 for Brizzy. Mayhem's won't be a problem at all.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the interview.
Yeah, mate. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, see you, mate. Bye.